this video may not be funny to you. I feel like every YouTube video should start that way. Up top, my name is MeganBatoon, and I usually make videos very different from this, aside from the time I did that self-love Q&A, and then when I talked about mental health awareness, and then the one about losing inspiration. I guess I do this often. I do this intermittently, and I do it when I usually feel like I need it the most. This week I just wanted to talk to you from person to person. Maybe you don't have someone in your life that you are able to talk to about a little bit of heavier topics or feeling down about yourself. And here's the thing about this. Anyone that you come across feels bad at some point in time. And maybe that point in time was earlier that day before you talked to them. That's so normal. And I feel like that's the trajectory of every single day because it's hard out here. Most of the stuff that's going on in our lives is in our own heads. And I am not speaking from expertise, I'm speaking from being right in there too. So I asked you on Instagram to send questions. I'm gonna take a break from our regularly scheduled ha-has and talk about not feeling okay, which is okay. Hopefully this will help you in some way or another. If it doesn't help you, maybe it helps someone else that you know that is struggling or just trying to figure out how to do life the best that they can, which is different for everybody. How do you stay so confident all the time? A lot of times I don't feel confident. It's the same syndrome that we have on social media where we're not posting our most vulnerable selves. We are showing you our highlight reel and we're fast forwarding it. People curate their social media. It is not real. I feel the most confident when I feel like I've accomplished something. There's a million books out there that say do one thing in the morning that sets the precedent for the rest of your day, like making your bed. I never make my bed, and I really should because I'm an adult, but like, I'm just gonna get back into it in a couple hours. In all truthfulness, I don't feel confident all the time. A lot of times I'm very insecure and I feel like everyone hates me. All that really matters is if people around me are having a good time. Because if they're not having a good time, I'm for sure not gonna be having a good time. And conversely, if I'm having a good time and I'm not obnoxious about it, chances are anyone around me is going to have a good time too, because people want to have a good time. In the end, people just want to be loved and liked. But just so we're all aware, I'm not confident all the time. And neither is anybody else that you know or like or look up to or want to meet one day. We're all insecure. How do you deal with negative influences in your life? Okay. This is actually a really interesting question because most people would say cut them out. But what happens if one of those people is your family member or your best friend? It is not plausible for you to just cut somebody out of your life because they are negative. Yes, you need to address the problem. You also don't have to be so direct with it, which is probably the worst advice. Hear me out. Depending on the type of person you're dealing with, it will affect them in a specific way. So choose your words carefully, but also choose how you bring it up. Like if someone's negative influence in your life, it's usually for a reason that you don't know. Everyone is acting the way they do because of how they are on the inside, what they're going through, their influences, their culture, how they grew up, their parental units. Sometimes it's multi-generational too. All the stresses that we carry is because that's what we got from our parents. And our parents got that because their parents gave them something else. And so everyone's trying to course correct how they were raised. And then it's up to us once we get mature enough in order to address the problem and be self-aware enough to put the work in so that we can make it better for people around us. So it's going to be different for everybody how to approach the specific person in your life. Put yourself in their shoes and you understand where they're coming from. Set the example of how you want them to be towards you. It's the golden rule. Treat people how you want to be treated. Have a conversation with them, very chill. Don't make it a whole intervention. Or you can bring it up offhand and just be like, I feel really negative lately, so I want to work on this. And maybe they get inspired because they know deep down inside that they are also negative too. And we all can be negative. It's like that one saying that it's not a saying. I think people on Twitter just say it. If you think this is about you, then take a closer look at why you think it is. If they're toxic, maybe they need someone to ask them how they're doing too, and that's just their cry for help. If after you speak with them and it still hasn't fixed or progressed at all and you still feel super icky, then you can start weaning them out of your life. A lot of times there's something underneath that is worth exploring before you just cut people right out. If after that they're still whack, thank you for coming. We're closing forever. What do you do if you feel unmotivated to do things you have to because you have to? Don't think that you have to, think that you get to. It all comes down to your mindset. We have no control over what happens to us. but we have every morsel of control of how we digest it and put it out into the world again. There are so many people out there that don't have the ability to do anything that you consider a nuisance, which I understand doesn't translate all the time because you're not experiencing it. For more practical advice, schedule something after this task that makes you excited. If you have to go into work and you hate your job, schedule something after work that you really love to do. Go to a coffee shop, read a book, go to a trampoline gym. Now you can see what I do for fun. There's an NLP exercise. Essentially, it's based off of visualization exercises. But the NLP exercise is thinking of the task that you have to do, and that's one layer. What they tell you to do is think of a secondary thing, something that you want to do after you get through this task, and put it behind it. In your mind, you're looking at what you have to do, but you know behind it is this thing that you want to do. Visualize a hole opening up. The more the iris opens, the more you can see that what you really want to do is just one task away. It doesn't work for me, but maybe it'll work for you. This question asks, is your creativity a way to skip your disturbance? I think that creativity, look at this video, for example. I planned on making an entirely different video, and I woke up today feeling super uninspired. Instead of canceling everything that I had to do and lay in bed sulking, I decided I'm still going to make the video, but I'm going to change it up and do something that I feel passionate about. This would help me if I'm feeling the way that I do. And I think it's important to know that we don't have it all together, and no one's asking us to. I think that using your creativity to make something very dark and repurpose it into a better version of it is the best way to get through something. The more that things happen to you, or the more that you feel pressured by something, will probably help you in making something out of your adversity. A good thing to know is that even diamonds start as coal. The best art you'll see usually comes from the worst times in people's lives. How do you find yourself when you're feeling lost? I feel like journaling would definitely help with this. And also focusing on what you're excited about. Find something that you really like and learn everything you can about it. I feel like if you feel lost and you're like, I'm not married by 25, or I don't have a full-on career by 30, I don't think we're working with archaic milestones anymore. Everyone's timeline is different. If you're feeling lost, follow what intrigues you. And whatever path that takes you on, you're on a path. How do you make yourself feel better when you're upset? Take 3 big breaths and count to 4 on each inhale and exhale. That usually will help you at least calm down enough so that you can process in a better way than before. Actually, there's a book that I have somewhere and I can't find it. This is going to be wrong. You have 2 neural pathways that process information differently. You have one that's fight or flight mode, and you have one that's methodic and analytical and pragmatic. Usually when you get upset, it's because something is triggering you and your fight or flight mode spikes up and clocks in, and it's like, we'll take it from here. You never really want to go off of that one because it's irrational and it makes a lot more mistakes than the slow and steady neural pathway that you have. All of that to say is, when something triggers you, if you just take 3 long, deep breaths, maybe you're giving your other part of your brain a chance to catch up. You can't trust anyone, even your own brain. This question says, are you happy? I think that answer would change multiple times a day for everyone. Happy is a mood. I don't think happy is a way of life. I think peace is a way of life. There's no way that you can be happy about things that happen no matter what. Death is natural. Confrontation is natural. Feeling sad is natural. You can't feel happy while you feel sad. I don't think that happy should be the goal. Happy is just a byproduct of being able to be okay with anything that's happening to you. So am I happy? Right now I am, but that's 12:31 p.m. today. Ask me that in 4 hours, it probably will be different. But am I gonna be okay with everything at 4:31? Probably. What is your why? I think my reason for my why has changed. The reason why I started making YouTube videos is because mainly I wanted to be someone that people could go to in order to make their days better. If they were feeling bad about something, they could watch a few videos and feel a little bit better because I would take them away from all of the external stimuli that's been clouding their day. Now that I've been doing this for like 7 or 8 years, and then I've gotten more vulnerable in sharing who I really am on the internet with not feeling like I need to yell at the camera or wear too much makeup to make up for what I thought I lacked in intelligence or humor. We are all just people, and putting authenticity on the forefront is the only why that I can see now. We are all going through the same things no matter who you are in this world. The main goals are love and growth. That's something that everyone can do, regardless of who you are or what you have. You can always love and you can always grow. I think my why is to help people by being a real person. Greatest life lesson you've learned so far? Either no one knows what they're doing and we're all just trying to figure it out, or everyone just wants to be loved, or there's always two sides to a story. Life lesson. To be interesting, be interested. Greatest life lesson. Check the size guide before ordering something online. Okay, you got one joke out of this video. How do you cope when an important plan for the future messes up? I think the earlier you can accept what happened, the quicker you can reroute where you're going. Sometimes my maps freak out and it takes me a crazy way, but I still get there. Yeah, I may be 15 minutes late, but we got there. It's like everybody says, you hear so many more no's than you do yeses. Whether that's in a job or with dating or with anything, there are so many no's that you can make yeses if you understand why the no is a no. Because once you figure out the reason for the no, you can use it in order to craft another plan to get a yes. A no is like a yes in disguise. A no is like a detour. You can't go the normal way for whatever reason. Maybe the no detour takes you down a different road on another path where you've never seen that scenery before. It's your new favorite road to take. Or maybe the no takes you down a different road and you get stopped at a stoplight right next to another person and you're jamming in your car and they're jamming in their car and you look over at each other and then you get married. That would be a crazy meet cute. It would be a street cute. Okay. Thoughts on giving a past relationship a second chance after years apart? Ooh, I feel like I could do a whole video on relationship questions. I'll keep it quick. I think be honest, be communicative, and don't bring the past into the present. How do you keep it all together? Find people where you can fall apart in front of. Do you honestly think anyone has full confidence in themselves? No. Wow, we're really blasting through these ones now. How do you combat self-doubt and the feeling of loneliness? If you're feeling lonely, I think it's an opportunity to understand what you're lacking or what you would like more of in your life. A lot of times when I feel lonely, it's because I feel like people don't actually like me, which is a crazy Google search that I have searched before. Hopefully you can reach out to someone where you can get lunch or coffee or even just talk to. And if you don't have anybody like that, maybe even just go to a coffee shop or a bar somewhere and bring a book, which I don't know why this happens. Every time I bring a book and I really want to read the book, that's when everybody wants to talk. So maybe try that out or say a compliment, give a compliment to someone, and that will instantly open them up in order to start some sort of connection. If you think about it, everyone in any room is insecure. They want to be loved, they want to be liked, and we all just act like we're robots. There's already enough robots in the world. We are the sentient ones. Why are we acting like robots already? Here's 2 tips that you can put into actual practice today whenever you talk to somebody. If you want to open up a conversation, I think you should ask, how has your week been? I don't think just asking them how they're doing, because we're so used to answering that question so hard and fast that sometimes people will say hi to me and I'll go, good, how are you? They didn't even ask a question. They said hi. So I think that you asking how has your week been, it jolts us into listening. Also, it gives that person so much material to draw from. They can pick whatever they want to talk about and open up that flow of conversation versus just asking how you are. How are we? We're all fine. We're all good, which we are not all the time. So I also think being honest, if someone asks you how you are, be honest. Tell them how your tire blew out on your way to where you're going. Tell them about the best thing that you saw that week. Tell them about anything to open more conversation up. When you're feeling lonely, there's some sort of disconnect. You're not connecting with others. You're not connecting with yourself. And I feel like if you are able to nurture both or either of those relationships, I think you'll find yourself in a different position. I think all of these answers boil down to checking in. You gotta check in. Maybe that'll be this type of video, is like a let's just check in with blank. I don't know if you like this or if you just want straight up yuck yucks. If you do like this type of stuff and if you want more of it, I basically do this every single week on Fridays with my podcast, Just a Tip. It is also there for you, as I am. Ooh, it would be cool if I ended with like here's something to do. Homework? It would be cool if I gave homework. It's just reiterating the same thing I've said this whole video, is journal. Okay, I don't know how to close this. How about an end card?